Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the DJ Sessions Presents the Virtual Sessions. I'm your host, Darren, and right now I'm sitting in the virtual studios in Seattle, Washington, and coming in all the way from Vietnam, we have Kevin Krissen on the show tonight. How's it going tonight, Kevin?
Hey,
Or
what's up?
I should
How are you
say,
guys?
this morning for you, Kevin.
Yeah, this is the morning. Yeah, it's 9:30 in the morning currently. So yeah, this is the morning.
Yeah,
So good
it's
morning,
7.
everybody. Good
Yeah,
evening, everybody.
absolutely, and yeah, we have a great little chat. I think we're going to have a few viewers coming in at the marketing going out and everything for this show, but it's an honor to have you. It took a little bit of time to get this scheduled, and obviously with the time differences, it's always kind of a little interesting putting everything together. But thank you so much for coming on the show. That's some cat hair on me. I'm going to get off because it's a live show. Anything goes. Um, so, how long? Let's just dive right in and get to know you, Kevin, and let our DJ Sessions fans know you. When did you start DJing?
Well, I started DJ when I was 15 years old, so it's about 15 years now.
Okay.
And when I started DJ, I immediately felt really a strong passion for electronic dance music. I've been DJing for so many years already in my country and in other countries, and it was super. It was a great experience for me to have it to perform on the different places, and I really love DJing. So this is one of the things that I love the most to do.
Did you grow up in Vietnam, or where are you originally from?
No, actually, I'm originally from France, so I'm French. But for the last 5 years, I've moved to Vietnam because actually of my business, the music industry, actually. So yeah, I'm French. I'm citizen French, but now I'm based in Asia right now.
What is your business that made you relocate to Vietnam? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so basically, I've been contacted to be a resident DJ of one of the top 100 club in Vietnam, in Ho Chi Minh City, which was called Envy Club. Right now, currently, is closed because of COVID, unfortunately. But I felt I really like this country, and I actually find a lot of opportunity for me to grow my career as an artist. So now I'm feeling super good in Vietnam, and Asian life is so different. So meeting a lot of new people and growing my network, and it's so many exciting things that you can actually do, and with adventure in your life. You want to create something very exciting especially for an artist.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we were talking about. We have a mutual friend, Luke, and I
Uh-huh.
was telling you a little bit about the DJ Sessions history before we got on the show tonight. And
Yep.
one of the markets that we're talking about exploring is the Eastern Europe market and the India market as well. Because
Hmm.
a lot of our viewership is US based, and we're now
Yep.
getting more international based, which is
Uh-huh.
awesome. And growing that, like I said before the show, we were talking. I was giving you a bunch of the plans we got, but definitely there is a market for obviously electronic music
Uh-huh. Yeah.
overseas that way, and we're working our way around the globe. We'll get there eventually, maybe in 2020, late 2023, 2024, but we'll work on it. But
Hmm.
congratulations on getting the job and the residency over there. How long did it take you to acclimate to the culture there? Because European culture and is like
Well,
Western culture, Eastern culture.
it's a really good question because I remember when I arrived, I was completely lost. It's such a different life. Like when you come from Europe and you are actually need to adapt to another culture. It's a really exciting adventure. Like food is different, lifestyle is different, people mind are very different. So it's part of the process. And basically, if you want to stay in the country, you have to adapt yourself, and you have to make some sort of sacrifice, to live in their country because you are actually not in your country. So it's such a difference, like culture. For example, like I have a lot of Vietnamese friends. There are like a lot of families culture different like than Europe. And this is all these differences like makes the life very exciting actually.
Yeah, my friend moved to Bangkok probably about 20 years ago from the
That's
States.
nice.
Has lived over
Uh-huh.
there ever since. He loves it over there. I've talked about going over there and visiting him for years and years and years. And now two of my friends, they just moved to Melbourne, to Australia.
Uh-huh.
So it kind of gives me an excuse to like fly over to Melbourne and then go from Melbourne up to like up to Thailand and go to Bangkok. I've always wanted to visit that city. You recently just played there, didn't you?
Yeah. I played to. I recently went on tour to Myanmar,
Yep.
and I got some time off in Bangkok, so I went to visit some friends and doing some network and business and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, I really like Thailand. It's a really cool country, you know. And
And
hopefully I can come back here and have a show on some clubs and prepare some Thailand tour or something, you know, which I'm actually currently work on it.
And in addition to being a DJ, you're also a producer, correct?
Sure, yeah.
When did you start producing?
I started producing when I was like it was 2014. So 2014, I started doing some I experiment with some like kind of mashup bootleg, and I definitely really feel like oh, this is really something that I want to do. You know, I really want to have the feeling to create something for my audience and make my own music actually. So yeah, so I started to because I was in that time I was resident DJ in one of my club in my country. You know, it's a small club, and this is how actually I felt like okay, this is actually what I want to do. So I want to create my own music. So I started to make some mashup bootleg and stuff. I work with a lot of work and watching many tutorials and stuff because right now we can watch everything on YouTube and we can learn by ourselves actually. And yeah, I definitely felt like really strong passion for music production. And years by years, I'm trying to involving my sounds and finding my sounds, trying to start working with VSTs, trying to start play piano because I've been playing piano for so many years now. Yeah, so this is how it happened. I really like to create something, like share my feeling when I'm sitting down in the studio, and you know, I got inspired when I listen some other genres music. You know, I just like, oh, okay, I have an idea, so I just sit down and I write the melody, compose the melody, and like work around the track like this.
What was the learning curve like going from DJing to producing? And if we were to listen to your first track, would you
Uh-huh.
still think it was hot or is it not?
No. To be honest, no. Of course, I've been like recently re-listen again like my first production, let's say, and yeah, it's totally another level today. So, but it's fun because it's how you actually hear the progress that you made, you know, in your journey, you know. So yeah, no. So my first production was like really shit, to be honest, but you know, this is how it is. So it's like it's actually fun to listen sometimes what you were making like 10 years before, you know, something like that. So you can actually see the progress on your career, and it's actually motivate you to keep going to yeah, improve your skills, you know.
Yeah, it reminds me of when I went to college the first time and I took English 100 and I wrote my first paper and I got an
Uh-huh.
A on it. And I
Okay.
thought I'm smart. This college stuff, I know what I'm doing. And then went back a couple years later when I was able to write, 15-page theses in like a few hours and look back on that first paper and went, oh, I was a stupid freaking idiot. I thought I was smart, but no, I looked at him like, that's how I wrote, and I got an A, and I was proud of it.
Uh-huh.
But it takes time, and it just doesn't come overnight. Do you still use the current software? You're a software or hardware producer?
No, I'm a software. Well,
Software.
actually, when I have a chance to work with hardware, I work with hardware. So, for example, sometimes when I have to master a track, I'm going to a studio because I don't have right now some hardware right now, but I'm working on building my own like professional studio hardware studio. So yeah, I'm using like a software. It's FL Studio. I start to producing with Logic Pro X. But I recently, like a year or 2 years ago, I switched to FL Studio because I think the DAW like growing a lot, and they have a lot of very good function that you cannot have in Logic Pro X, for example. So I just switched the DAW, and
No, I played with. I used to play with Fruity Loops. Just play with it back in the day. Fruity Loops 3. This is back in
Oh,
like '99. I
okay, yeah,
had it
yeah.
on my laptop, and it was fun. I liked this sequencer. Played around with it, and
It's
then
cool. The
2 years
interface is
later,
the interface is nice. It's like not really complicated to understand.
yeah,
It's
yeah. And
cool.
a few years later, I went to work for Apple and became a certified trainer, and was a certified trainer to train people how.
Mhm.
I was a trainer to train people how to train people to use all the high end, the Final Cut Pro, Motion, Logic. By the way, it's Logic 10, not Logic X.
Yeah, Logic X, man. Same.
Did they rebrand? I thought when it came out, no, I thought it's supposed to stand for 10. Like everyone used to say OS X for the operating
Yeah.
system. And no, it's OS 10 is the actual operating system. It's a
Okay.
Roman numeral. Just
All right.
FYI.
Well, I always call that Logic Pro X. Like
Yeah.
because there was a 9 version, and after that they upgrade to the 10, so the X.
Yeah, they switched the 10 to X. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
exactly.
Roman numeral.
Okay,
Anyways,
so whatever you want to call it.
whatever you want to call it, people know what you're talking about. But I loved Logic too. When I would get in and play with the sequencers in Logic and just mess around, I
Yeah,
used it for like scoring little soundtracks for like commercials for customers, for clients, stuff. But
sure.
using the built-in jingles and all that fun stuff and the built-in sample packs. But I love the sequencer that Logic had. I mean, it just out of everything I'd ever played with, it felt harmonious. Logic did.
Yeah,
It felt really well put together. But yeah, it's funny how much I now hear people are using Fruity Loops for FL.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
oh, coming back.
Actually,
Now,
actually, Logic Pro X is really cool for like recording and composing. If you want
mhm,
to like record some like natural instrument, like guitar or something, like you can plug
mhm.
on your sound card. It's really good because it is made for that actually. But for mixing and mastering is like a little bit like I mean there's some DAW much better.
Now, you did a video recently, stock plugins versus
Yeah,
built-in plugins. Is that correct?
yeah, that's correct. Yeah,
What
exactly.
prompted you to start making a video series and start talking to the camera and doing that?
Well, I really love to. The first things that I love to do is share my knowledge to other people to help like upcoming fellow producers. So I started to have the idea like, okay, I want to build my YouTube channel and make maybe like doing some tutorials on what I've been learning for the past few years. And I found very interesting to actually share this to people because it took me years actually to to learn those things. But right now, I can definitely. I want to give something to back to my followers and my fans. Because I have many producers. Sometimes they ask me on social, "How do you make this? How do you make this?" So they ask me a lot of music production question, which I'm not able to reply to anyone, unfortunately. So instead of that, I'm saying like probably I can. Yeah, I can make some like video series on my YouTube channel, so where I explain how I'm doing this. So the last video was like comparison about stock plugin versus like the best plugin in the market. So I invite you guys see if you want to see some differences, what you can do with different type of plugin to watch it.
And how long does it take you to finish a production on average? Now, before compared to now.
Okay, so you wanted to me to say before compared to now?
Yeah, like did it take you like was it 6 months before to finish a song, and now you can bounce one out in a month, or how often? How did you get better with the gear over time, or are
Yeah,
you
sure.
still do you, or does it take you the same amount of time to produce a track?
No, no, no. I definitely get better, of course. So right now, like before, like for example, a couple of years before, it was depends taking me like probably 6 months to finish a song. You know, like from the start to finish with all mixing and mastering, because I like to mix and master my own tracks. But right now it can be very fast if I get inspired in the studio and I get the melody and I get the idea about the arrangement. So I just write down this and I have all my library sample already ready, you know, to use. So it can be really fast. It can be on like I can finish the track in 1 week with including mixing and mastering. Or sometimes if I'm not feeling inspired or something, it can take like maybe up to 1 month something.
Yeah, and how many tracks do you produce a month, and how many end up being released on average? Do you work on multiple tracks at the same time,
Yeah,
or is
sure.
it just one track at one time?
I like to work as multiple tracks in the same time, because sometimes you know you feel stuck in one track, or maybe your ears are getting tired to listen the same melody and arrangement, you know. So your ears are not really audible, you know, to hear the mistake that maybe there is, you know. So I think if I can give you one of my tips for upcoming producer is. Yeah, work on so many on many tracks like in the same time, because you will be able, for example, to reopen the project the next week and to hear really audible like what's it missing, what you have to work on, you know. So it's very interesting to work on many tracks in the same time, you know. So you cannot be bored about like the melodies, and because when you work as a music producer, you usually work on making a loop and listen about sound design. Okay, what sound design I should I choose for this lead melody, you know. So your ears are getting tired, you know, like you hear constantly the same thing. So it's definitely good to switch like some of the project.
Now, going back to your DJ career, I
Sure.
meant to ask this earlier. Um, is there any special cultural, what's the word I'm looking for, customs that one does behind the DJ booth in Vietnam that they don't do in other countries? Like, is it customary to do anything there, or is it just the same? You just get up and play, and everyone goes crazy.
Yeah, well, it's pretty much the same as like everywhere, you know. Like as long as you make the crowd happy, they go crazy and they really enjoy the night, you know. Especially on festival, you know, like people are really like to enjoy good music.
Mhm. And what's the worst thing that's ever happened to you on stage?
Oh, that's a good question. I think if I remember like really good, what happened to me, it was a show that I had just after Case, an artist like from Revealed and all the big label. Okay, so I don't know if you know Case. So he came to play here in Vietnam in Envy Club, the club that I was resident there, and he did a really amazing show. It was super great and stuff. And just I needed to play just after him, so I needed to perform just after his show. And as soon as my intro starts, when the drop comes, I jump and one of my jacket push the the pause button on the CDG. So the music stopped in the club, you know. But it was like just a couple of seconds. So I was like, oh, and I just push it back, you know. But it was like kind of a mistake, you know. Sometimes it can happen, you know.
And who's the most inspiring person you've ever met backstage? And tell us why that person inspired you.
Well, I think it's one of the most inspiring artists that I've met. Is definitely Case, because I really like. Well, I've met a lot of people, a lot of big DJs when I was resident in this club, which really was great experience for me because I've been like doing so many network with DJs, so now we can share some products and send some music and stuff. But why this guy inspired me the most? It's like because actually the his sounds is like similar to what I'm like really like to producing. So it's like festival-ish sounds, like really festival sounds, you know, progressive house, big room. So this is my main genre actually, and I don't know why, I definitely can see myself on this his personality, you know, like he's really cool guy, he's really humble guy, and it's really easy to make friend with, you know. And sometimes some of the artists would be like they would put some barrier, you know, like between uh, resident DJ and an artist because they are the one headliner. So I mean, with this guy, I didn't feel that. I just like really enjoyed the night. We get drunk in the club, you know, like we really enjoy like a very good buddies, you know. So yeah, I'm still very in good contact with him. We are talking like very often. So
Would you say he'd be your biggest influence when you come to your career as an artist, or is there somebody
no,
else that would come to
no.
who would be your biggest influence when it comes to your career and why?
Yeah, so my biggest influence in my career would definitely be Hardwell, because Hardwell is the one that makes me want to become music producer.
Mhm.
I remember I was just DJing and I was just like starting to play his like first track, what is just like get famous in 2011, and this track called Spaceman, you know, like everyone knows. Um, I, I don't know. I really like this is stuff. I really like the person. I really like the character behind the artist. You know, he's really a humble guy. Unfortunately, I didn't have the chance to meet him yet. But I'm definitely going to make it happen. Um, yeah, and he's one of my biggest influence in the electronic dance music industry.
Well, you were just on the Revealed Selected show, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
And how was that experience? You did a short interview. Was it a short interview and a set, or tell us about that experience?
Uh-huh. Yeah, so basically, I did like reveal selected the highlight of the week. So they contact me to having me on the show and actually asking me my top three selected track on Reveal Radar because I'm a Reveal a Radar artist right now. I've released on Reveal already. Um, so it was really fun, you know. I had a lot of fun with Adam K, which is an amazing guy. You know, behind the scene, we had such a good time. Yeah, it was super great, and also very. I felt really grateful for Reveal giving me this opportunity to be on the show.
Congratulations on that. Hopefully,
Thank
one
you.
day we'll have a million followers and 1.5 million followers on Facebook and Instagram. And I was
Yeah.
just doing the research on that before the show, and I'm like, oh, let me go check out this radio show. Maybe I could get on this show and do an interview. And I'm like, oh, it's Hardwell's label. I didn't know it didn't click with me at the time. Um,
Okay.
do you ever get shy in the presence of someone famous?
No, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. I mean, like depends of the situation, you know. Like if I meet the people, I would be really glad and just introduce myself and like try to treat them not as a fan, you know. So because like probably more as we are artists, both we are both artists, so just like keep it casual and just keep it cool, asking some question that I have in mind, you know, like try to make connection, you know, try to keep contact, and I think it's cool, you know.
Yeah, it's there's been a couple times where I feel a little bit of fanboy with me. And it was actually my first time. One of my first interviews I ever did with a celebrity DJ was Paul Oakenfold, and uh,
Yeah, yeah,
and and Paul Oakenfold is there's a history of this as one of the first electronic music discs or DJ compilations I ever bought was the
uh-huh.
Paul Oakenfold Global Underground 007 album, double disc album. And I just fell in love with that. And I never really thought that at that time in 99, 2000, when I bought that, that I think it was, I want to say it was 2000, it had to be 2006, maybe seven. I was going to be interviewing him. And
Okay.
I was kind of like, ah. And then the other day I had, I don't know if you're familiar with I never even knew any much about her before she came on the show. But do you know Marie Benary? Famous,
Uh,
world famous violinist, world famous. She's like a UN ambassador. She plays at
okay.
all these presidential events around the world. Super, super phenomenal person. When I was just reading up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just invited the UN ambassador on the show. This is going to be awesome. I had a
Yeah,
little bit, like,
I think I heard it already. The name, yeah.
yeah. But yeah,
Cool.
it's interesting. I think that's the one thing I love about working with all the artists that appear on the show is that everyone is real, everyone is down to earth, everyone is honest,
Yeah,
and they're very humble, and in the sense, you don't get an ego from them, and
exactly.
I know there's a lot of egotism in the nightlife world.
Hmm.
I'm a badass DJ and everyone else sucks, and I'm like, I don't get that attitude from the famous people. They don't have that attitude. The people that are in the spotlight don't have that attitude. It's the people that sometimes are not in the spotlight trying to climb up the ranks, and they're trying to outdo the next person or be better.
Sure.
And it's just it's kind of, it's one thing that I wish that would change about the industry, but you're always going to have if it's a competitive industry, you're always going to have somebody saying I'm better than you are, but but when you make it to that level, you kind of don't have to say that. Now speaking of kind of like putting DJs on a pedestal at clubs and other dance events, should people look at the DJs like they're rock stars, or would it be more fun if DJs were kind of slightly more anonymous and just part of the bigger event? The reason I
Uh-huh.
ask this is because when I started going to clubs as a kid, almost 30 years ago, well, 32 years ago, because I was getting in underage, but the DJ booth was kind of off on the corner. And you went and danced on the dance floor, or the DJ was up in a booth. You didn't really ever see the DJ that much. And
Uh-huh.
now they're a huge part of the show. Do you think it should go maybe backwards and have DJs kind of off to the side, or do you think they should be treated like the rock stars and front and center stage? Here we go.
Yeah, definitely. I think well, it depends of the club and depends of the stage as well. There is many other places that I saw. Like you said, DJ was like really like the highlight of the night, let's say. But it really depends on the stage, you know. Like for example, when you play in festival, there is on the main stage, there is you feel like really the king of the night, you know. Like
Mhm.
you are in that stage and there's the like 1,000 people in front of you. So but in the club it's more is different, you know. It's different. Sometimes club are like stage more inside the crowd, you know, so people can interact with the DJ. Yeah, so it's depends on the place, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like the DJs used to have rock bands and bands filling stadiums, and
Hmm.
now it's DJs and electronic artists filling stadiums. You
Yeah,
know, um, and of course,
exactly.
all the aesthetics and the lighting and everything that goes on with that just keeps getting better and better and better. It gets crazy. If
Uh-huh.
you had to choose between a really bad party to play with massive pay or a really superb party with no pay, which one would you pick?
I think I would play. I will pick the no pay party with an amazing crowd, because this is something that I really like to do, playing with and seeing people enjoy my music. You know.
And what's the weirdest way? Has anyone ever tried to pay you differently, like not in cash, but like Bitcoin or Ethereum or NFTs or anything other than cash? Has there ever been a weird experience where somebody says, "Oh, I'll give you this"?
No, no, I never had this. No,
I had
I
somebody
never.
answer a few weeks ago. They said, "I got paid in fish." And I was like,
Fish.
yeah, fish. Apparently there was this restaurant they wanted to go to. It was a very expensive
Uh-huh.
restaurant. And so they said, if you treat me to this dinner at this restaurant, I will I will take it for that dinner. And it was a pretty expensive dinner. I take it, but they said I got paid in fish for their dinner. So
Wow.
sometimes we get some crazy. I like to, you never know what people will put on their
Yeah, yeah,
rider
sure,
or what they'll request. We used to
sure.
get people used to say, hey, I'll do this for a bottle of wine. It's like, all right, cool. You send them a nice $100 bottle of wine, and they're like, yep, all right, cool.
Yeah.
they're a wine connoisseur, so you never know. What's the best experience you've ever had behind the DJ booth?
Best experience. I got so many good, very amazing experience. So it's hard. It's hard to answer that. I think one of the biggest experience that I had is like the chance to perform at Ultra Korea on the main stage in 2019, just before COVID hit. Was a great experience for me because I had the opportunity to meet so many great artists and create so many good connection with them, and see as well the another country. And Ultra Music Festival was one of my dream. Basically, when I just started my DJ journey, and to be able to reach that goal, like seeing your face on the flyer of Ultra Music Festival, it's such an amazing feeling. So yeah, I'll probably say playing at the Ultra Music Festival. This is one of my biggest accomplishment.
That was ultra. That was 2019. Where was that at?
Korea, Korea,
Korea.
Seoul.
Korea. That's right. Korea.
Yeah,
Awesome. I'm going to take an audience member question right now.
sure.
And if you had to pick one of your productions as your most favorite one, which one would that be? And is there a thought behind it for it to be your favorite? That comes from LOWeb. Hope I said that right.
Come from who? LOM.
Oh, LOWeb was the
Okay.
viewer.
If you had to pick one of your production of your most favorite one, which one would that be? I think would be probably one of a track called Snake. Okay, so this is a track called from Blaster Jacks. For me, there are so many tracks that I can actually pick. But one of the tracks that really marked me because of the melody is such an emotional melody, and it's really what I really like in EDM, and it's really really very standout melody that you can usually hear sometimes on famous electronic dance music track. So yeah, I would say like one of the production that I would pick is I have a lot of tracks that I can pick, but if I have to think right now to one, I would say yeah, Blaster Jack Snake is one of the like first Blaster Jacks track like in 2014. There's also Rocket with in collaboration with W&W, which is amazing.
And you do have something coming out this week, right?
I do, yeah, I do.
Can you let our DJ Sessions fans know about that?
Sure. I have so basically I have a big release coming on the July 29th, so this Friday. On next chapter, it's a big collaboration called Big Room Revolution together with Justin Prime, and I'm super excited to show the world this collaboration because it's a really big room track, and we had so much fun to make it together. And Justin is one of my good friends from Netherlands. He's one of my good buddy right now, and I'm super excited to work with him on this track.
Awesome. Congratulations on that. Can't wait to hear it.
Thank you
It's
so
going to
much.
be awesome. When it comes to electronic dance music, going outside of electronic dance music, who is your favorite artist outside of electronic music that you listen to?
So outside of the electronic dance music, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I like so many other genres. To be honest, I like Drake. I really like Drake. This singer and artist really making so catchy song, that everyone knows, of course. In this classical style, I would say I like really Adele. Like she has like such beautiful song, like really amazing emotional lyrics. Um, and I like many other artists, to be honest. I really like many other artists outside the electronic dance music, because I'm listening actually like a lot of genres outside of electronic dance music, which actually help me sometimes to get inspired, to be honest. So yeah, definitely I would say Adele, one of my favorite singer.
Awesome. And I had a question here from a viewer
Sure.
from Sol Solitha. I hope I said that right. What do you prefer doing when you're taking a break from music?
When I take a break from music, I like to actually hang out with friends. I like also to spend time with my family when I can, but right now I'm separate from them because they are living in France. So I'm trying to spend some times with the people around me, so which is my friend, hang out, like going to eat. I also like to do some activities, some sport, because I'm really a big fan of sport. I don't like to stay like inactive because we are actually sitting in a studio for like for 8 hours a day, So sometimes it's really cool. I have my routine workout, so I go workouts every morning, uh, 1 hour 30 minutes. After that, I come back. I'm sitting down in the studio, and sometimes I do a break. I go do a walk. I have fun with my dogs. Many things like that.
That's one of the questions I typically ask people is with spending so many countless hours behind a desk at a computer producing music, what do you do in your free time to stay fit? And you kind of just answered that question of getting out and doing
Yeah,
everything.
I'm doing a lot of like routine workouts. Like I'm really into gym. I really like gym since many years. So I've been workout since many years now, and I definitely want to keep this routine because it's first of all it's healthy, and second of all it's good for good looking and stay fit actually.
And you mentioned earlier you like going out and eating food with your friends. If we were to go to Vietnam, I'm going to pull this question up. So this is
Yeah.
kind of where would you say the best restaurant is around, and what makes them so great?
It's a good question. Actually, Vietnam has a lot of good places. Vietnam food is pretty amazing. I would recommend to try one of the local food, which you can't find in any other countries, to be honest. Because I've been in France like for so many years. Like I was born in France, and I always had like the love for the Asian food, But I never found one actually I found when I came in Vietnam. Such is very
I bet.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say like probably like a dishes from Vietnam called bo co.
Bok call.
Bo co. Yes. I don't
What
know
is
if I
that?
pronounced good because I've been living in Vietnam for 5 years, but I'm not speaking Vietnamese, so my accent is very weird. But it's kind of dishes like with beef and like vegetables and noodles, and it's really great taste. I really like it. It's one of my favorite food.
I think I'm gonna go get some pho for dinner now.
Pho is very good. Pho is really great as well. Yeah, yeah.
Actually,
But I'm a
that's I
little bit,
think exactly what I'm gonna go get for dinner right now.
I'm a little bit tired of pho. I've been eating that too much. So,
Yeah. But back to DJ producer stuff. Who's your favorite DJ, and could you tell us why? Because we already kind of covered this one. Was Hardwell your
yeah,
choice
yeah,
for this DJ?
yeah.
Because I know he produces, but
Mhm.
is there if you took Hardwell out of the DJ category because he already
Okay.
kind of qualified for producer, who's your favorite DJ? You have a
Uh,
favorite?
I think I think would be hardware definitely, and also W and W.
WW.
Uh, yeah. So I don't know, like because they are such like great performances in live, and yeah, I really like it. I really dig in their set every time, and they are playing like really really track like stand up. To be honest,
And
really cool.
if you could take one non-famous person and
Hmm.
put them in the spotlight who means a lot to you other than your friends and friends, direct friends or family, who would that be and why?
Wow, it's a difficult question. I'm not sure I can answer to that because I don't really know. I don't have really many ideas about it.
Mhm. No, it's so I get a lot of people when they think they always do go to a friend of theirs or a family member,
Yeah, yeah,
and
sure. Yeah, but
it
you
would be
said
somebody.
except your friends and your family members.
Mhm.
So I don't know who choose it.
Have you looked at doing anything in virtual reality? Were you doing Twitch streams, and have you been approached to perform in a virtual nightclub yet?
No, not yet. No, no. not yet.
Well, you just did. You can come play ours.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. No, actually, I'm working on with my media team. I'm working to create a good live stream. Probably next month. Um, so yeah, I'm working with with a media team to create like really good live stream with drones and many other cameras to make something really professional.
Awesome. Well, let us know about that. We'd love to share it on the show on the site.
Sure, sure,
And
sure.
here's the biggest three little letters I'm going to bring up in this interview. NFTs and your thoughts on them.
NFTs and my thoughts on it. Well, I think can be really good, yeah, really interesting for people that really into it. But in my opinion, I'm not really into it. Uh, I'm not really interested to that, you know. Like so it's not like I know a lot about it, but I'm not really into that. So I think it can be really good, but I think it can also really be a crap, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. Uh, you know how you know um, how those are progressing and what it means for artists in the industry, because then it might um, it looks as though it might be another way that artists are going to be able to earn revenue from their songs, kind of selling over and over and over and over again, rather than just the one time it's done.
Yeah.
But my impression is that an NFT is supposed to be kind of like a collectible item,
Yeah.
So if somebody
Exactly.
buys it and holds on to it and I'm listening to the song, well, if I sell it, I don't have that song anymore.
Yeah.
So, you know, but it's interesting on, how the boom of them happened. We're exploring NFTs in a way to kind of make collectibles for our fans of the show, or your fans that might say, oh, I want to own an NFT of Kevin's interview. We only make 10 of them or 20 of
hmm
them. And then they could buy that NFT and say, oh, I'm holding on to this. And then say, oh, I don't want this anymore. Hey, let's go sell this to another fan. But then
Sure.
we could attach your wallet to it. And because
Uh-huh.
you performed an interview, you're going to get a little bit of the cut of that NFT each time it would go through the ranks.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It'd be something really, really cool to offer out there. Um, do you enjoy doing stupid stuff? Are you are you
What,
are you
what do you
a
mean stupid
are
stuff?
you a practical joker in any way, shape, or form, or are you the prankster type of person, or are you the kind of guy that do you like to pull jokes on people? That's a
Yeah.
question that came up.
Sometimes it's fun to put jokes on people. Yeah. Yeah.
What's your best prank you've ever done to somebody?
My best prank that I have done to somebody. Wow, it's a really good question. I have to go back on my memories. I think it's just is some like throwing one of my friend in on the pool when he was just while sleeping. So it was super fun. So basically, we were actually a kind of group of friends renting a villa, like small houses in holidays, and like we were of course like drinking and like party and stuff, and he was like feeling drunk, and he was just sick, and with a couple of friends we took him and we just throw him on the on the pool, like it was while he was sleeping, so it was super fun because to see his reaction, like it's kind of it was dead already.
That's awesome. Well, is there anything you want to let our DJ Sessions fans know about before we let you get back to possibly going to breakfast over there in Vietnam?
Well, no, I would probably go breakfast, yeah. um Well, I would like to, first of all to thanks the team for having me on the show for the interview. I had a super great time with you, Darren, and all the team.
Thank you.
I would like to know about. I would like to say to people that make sure to keep an eye on my social because many big things coming. I have like a lot of big collaboration with many big artists coming in the next few months. So it's gonna be really amazing. And if you are a fan of electronic dance music, make sure to follow Kevin Krissen Music on Instagram.
Right there.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show this morning. Vietnam
Thank
time,
you. Yes,
8
yes.
Pacific time.
For
And
you,
we'll
it's
be
evening.
following back up with you and staying in contact with you. It's one of our jobs. We love reaching out and talking with artists and hearing what they're up to, what's coming out. Everyone, be sure to be looking for that Big Room Revolution track coming out on
Yes,
July
on Friday.
29th.
On
And
Friday.
yeah, who did you collaborate with that on again?
Justin Prime.
Justin Bryan. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for
Yes.
coming on the show today. It was a pleasure having you. And we'll have you on again here
Thank you
soon.
so much. Thank you so much
You're
for
welcome,
having me.
Kevin.
Sure.
Absolutely. On that note, don't forget to go to our website, thedjsessions.com. Follow us on TikTok, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Meta, wherever. But you know what? Go to our website, thedjsessions.com, because that's where you're going to find all our news stories, exclusive mixes, live interview schedule, where you can find out who's coming up next on the show and be part of the show. Ask those questions, get them in there at thedjsessions.com. Oh, also look us up on Roku, Amazon Prime, and Google Play, and soon to be Apple TV as well, live streaming on all those platforms. This is Darren with the DJ Sessions coming to you from the virtual studios in Seattle, Washington with Kevin, Krissen, all the way from Vietnam. And remember, on the DJ Sessions, the music never stops.
Cheers, guys.